Rasic get here, same way that you brought the mother brothers in here, you could just bring them in the same way and shit. I'm get started. If you tune in to me, you watching Gully TV. Welcome to the Dribble Podcast episode. I believe this is 49, second season. Got a special guest tonight. Shout out to everybody that's been keeping up. Make sure y'all go to the website and get knitted, pa-knit.com. You can go to my personal haberdashery, therealdribble.com. You can go over there and get right. Can I move this mic a little bit? Alright. When Rash get in here and shit, I'm gonna just, same way we did it last time, position him next to me and shit. Nah, I ain't gonna move it. We good? Alright.
That's why when you see me sometimes cut it off,
Yeah.
that's because the mic was bumping. I'm not sure if it's buzzing or not.
So we good right now? You won't know until we...
Mic check real quick.
Need a mic check?
Yeah.
Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Good. Subscribe to the channel. My guest is en route. Hopefully it'll be here within a reasonable amount of time and shit. Yeah, we can go. Peace. Truck drivers. YouTube, Instagram, social media, I'm here. The Real Dribble, brought to you by Gully TV, founder, executive producer, curator, The Dribble. Pillmatic 3 coming soon. Shout out to all the MCs we've been working with. Word. I love how that shit come in. Make sure y'all go get that joint right there. Shit, that's called Hunger to Win. That's on Pillmatic 2. That's YNX from Buffalo, New York, and Splash Alka from the South Bronx. Shout out to everybody who's been tuning in. The numbers have been incredible. I'm available on all streaming platforms, as y'all know. Same goes for my music, all of the Gully TV music that's been coming out of the Hit Factory with me and P.A. Dre. Available on all streaming sites, Pillmatic 1, Pillmatic 2. My compilation series featuring some of the dopest underground MCs on the planet. Man, I'm back in the building. We're closing out October. The NBA is here. The season is underway. My birthday was this month. As I told y'all before, I seen Stevie Wonder in concert just the other day. If you follow me on Instagram, you've seen that incredible, legendary picture I posted with the Reverend Jesse Jackson, who I had the pleasure of meeting a few days ago at a it's kind of like a voter registration rally. His son was there, Jesse Jackson Jr. He was the keynote speaker, and of course, he brought his father there. His father's suffering from Parkinson's disease. He's in a wheelchair now, but he's still able to speak. You just gotta be patient, let him, breathe and get his words out, and you gotta listen closely. He's working with somewhat like a second-hand translator, who I believe is his, because he speaks just barely above a whisper. I believe his translator is one of his grandsons or something like that, but make sure you follow me on Instagram at IamGullyTV_. You can go over there and check out that picture. I'm going to get that joint blowed up and put it in my office. It's one of the more important photos I've taken in my lifetime and shit. Back when I was in college, I had the pleasure of being in the presence of Bobby Seale from the Black Panthers. I took a picture with him in college. I don't know where that picture at. I didn't know the magnitude of Bobby Seale at the time. But, now that I'm an adult male, I'm very well read in regards to the contributions of the Black Panthers. I've been all through Oakland, visiting former sites where they were active at, on Telegraph, on MacArthur, and all of that. Shout out to Mr. Fab out there in Oakland, and everybody who tuning into the podcast from the West Coast. Anyway, before I get off into this, King Von, Lil Durk, OTF, Indictment, Fiasco. I gotta briefly talk about basketball. Bronny James is going to the G League, and I believe that this is probably the last we're gonna see of him in the NBA. He's got a guaranteed contract. He got $8 million a year. I think he signed for 4 years. They're gonna have to pay him all that money. He's gonna go to the G League. He's not gonna be a part of the Lakers. He's not gonna contribute. Shout out to the Lakers. The Lakers are 2-0 for the first time in, I think, since the Phil Jackson era. We came from behind last night to beat a hot shooting Phoenix Suns team led by Devin Booker, Kevin Durant. We ran them down. Anthony Davis has been playing incredible. J.J. Redick is 2-0. Hey, what do you know? A lot of us wasn't expecting this. This is J.J. Redick's first year as a head coach. He seems to be handling things. I don't know. Everybody's... Last night, Rui had 14, I believe. Austin Reeves had 21. LeBron had 23 or something like that. And Davis scored over 30 again. It's the first time a Laker player has scored 30 in back-to-back games to start the season, of course, since Kobe Bryant. So shout out to them. But, yeah, the internet is flooded with stories about LeBron's son stinking up the place and just disrupting a lot of shit that's going on with the franchise. But they just announced that after this 5-game road trip, he will be going to the G League, and I'm sure we won't see him anymore for the rest of the season. I got a guest tonight. He'll be here shortly. His name's Jay Rasic. He's from the Streets T Podcast. Very interesting fella. He used to be the Ops back in my DVD era. Back in the DVD era, he had a DVD out here in Erie, Pennsylvania called Bang 'Em. Street Bang 'Em. And I hated them niggas. But he cool now and shit, you know what I'm saying? He's still doing his thing in media. I've grown to respect what it is that he does. And he just texted me, he said he'll be here shortly. But before I go into this big indictment that came out of California, I just want to tell everybody, man, when y'all tuning into people who do content creators and shit like that, stop getting upset that these niggas is going to jail. Y'all don't get upset at them niggas. Y'all don't get upset at the people who handcuffed them, which is the FBI. Don't get mad at us for recording what the fuck is going on, man. I see a lot of people being their feelings, man. Shout out to King AK-47, Doggy Diamonds, just everybody else who's been covering this shit, man, down to a detail, man. We do this, man. We bring y'all hip-hop, current events, urban entertainment news and shit, man. Like, when y'all, I guess a lot of these guys, some of these guys, y'all look up to them, even though they be killers and cancers of society and the community and shit like that. Y'all look up to them still, and y'all be pissed off when they go to jail, but y'all don't be pissed off when they on the streets killing and shit like that. And as far as the fans go, people who tune in to us, a lot of y'all encourage the bullshit from your homes and shit in the comments, from your couch. And a lot of people seem to think that Lil Durk was encouraged and antagonized by his fans, and that's what got him in a situation that he's in right now. A lot of people who, since the murder of King Von and on November 6, 2020, a lot of people had this phrase that they would post in Lil Durk's comments: when you gonna spend for Von, when you gonna get some get back for Von, you know, and all of that type of shit. And apparently this shit was getting under his skin, because as of Thursday night, 2024, October 2024, you got an indictment, and this indictment is related to the August 19th, 2022 murder of Lil Pab, who was Quando Rondo's cousin. Now, I got a lot to pour on this before Rastic comes in the booth with me. I'm gonna get his opinion on some things, and we gonna sit here and bust it up about what's going on right now. But for those who aren't in the know, King Von on November 6, 2020, he was killed by one of Quando Rondo's associates, a guy by the name of Little Tim, who has since beat this murder case for. I think it was he beat it. He beat it for almost I forget the name. It escapes me right now. But yeah, he beat it. He beat it. And from that point on, according to the authorities, a financier from Chicago vowed to get revenge. And I'm reading this from XXL.com. These are the allegations in regards to this financier. Authorities label Lil Durk as the leader of Only the Family and say the group acts as an association, in fact, of individuals who engage in violence, including murder and assault, at the direction of Durk Banks, and to maintain their status as OTF. On or around the day of King Von's killing, November 6, 2020, Durk placed a monetary bounty on Quando Rondo's head as the result of Von's death coming at the hands of Quando's associate, Timothy Little Tim Leaks. This bounty was allegedly $1 million bounty. On or around August 18th, 2022, Lil Durk and his co-conspirators, including suspects Kayvon London Grant, DeAndre Dontrell Wilson, Keith Jones, David Bryan Lindsay, and Asa Houston, found out Quando Rondo was staying in a downtown Los Angeles hotel. I really want to know how they came across that information. I'm going to get to that a little later. Lil Durk's OTF-related finances, specifically a credit card with ties to his label, was used by Grant to book flights to California and procure rental cars to drive for the state. In a text message sent to Grant by Durk, the rapper warned, "Don't book no flights under no names involved with this shit. Involved with me, pardon me. Don't book no flights under no names involved with me." While 4 of the suspects caught commercial flights from Chicago to Los Angeles, Durk and Grant flew into LA on a private flight the day before the shooting. Following the arrest of Grant, Wilson, Jones, Lindsay, and Houston, Durk booked 2 international flights to Dubai, United Arab Emirates, and Switzerland, but did not board the planes. When authorities discovered he booked a 3rd flight heading out of Miami to Italy, they intercepted him on the way to the airport and arrested him. According to this document that I'm reading right now, Durk was about to make a run for it when his guys got arrested and shit. And it's an 18-page indictment. It lays out the group's cross-country plot to murder Quando Rondo. The group trailed Quando and his team in Los Angeles on August 19, 2022 after finding out what hotel he was staying in, and fired on a black Cadillac Escalade Quando was riding in with his entourage at a LA gas station near the Beverly Center, killing Robinson. That's Little Pad, pardon me. Quando was uninjured in the shooting. Boy. So that's just a basic outline of what it was that got him arrested. They saying that in retaliation for the murder of King Von in November of 2020, Lil Durk acted as a financier and funded this mission to kill Quando Rondo. They wanted some get back. For many years, even if you're not totally in tune with these guys' music, because I'm not the biggest fan of drill rap, but you can't escape the content that's online, so you kind of know what's going on. If you're online in any capacity, you kind of know what's going on and shit. And they used to show videos and shit of King Von when he was living and shit, passing out OTF chains and passing out stacks of money. And one of the videos that was popular was him passing out stacks of money to who is now known as the O Block 5. Those are the guys who were indicted for the murder of FBG Duck. And you could just read in the comments, because a lot of these people from Chicago, they live out there with them niggas, they filling in the blanks and they saying, yeah, that bag came in and shit. And it would show Lil Durk passing out money and chains and shit. I mean, it would show King Von passing out money and chains to their little underlings, their little shooters and shit, in regards to work that they put in. It's been a rumor, well, allegedly, and I read this online yesterday, that this how OTF operated as far as Lil Durk was concerned. A lot of these guys associated with this shit were aspiring rappers or wanted to rap and shit, right? And if you wanted to move up in the rap game, if you wanted to get on a song with Durk, if you wanted to get a feature, if you wanted to get put in position, the guys who put in the work, the guys who was bodying shit, those are the guys who were favored. So this was the incentive for these dudes to kill. A lot of these dudes wanted to be rappers and shit. According to this indictment, one of his associates wore a wire for a couple of years on him. They saying it's a guy by the name of OTF Jam. His face is all over the internet right now. And there's a video attached to him where many years ago he did a video and he was explaining how Lil Durk gave him $50,000 when he came home from jail. Fast forward to 2024 October, and this is the man who is alleged to have worn a wiretap on Lil Durk, in the presence of Lil Durk, in the presence of other OTF gang members, discussing murders. And a lot of people like to believe that more arrests, more unsolved murders will probably come to light because of this wiretap. This is the hottest story online. You've been hearing, as of late, rappers like D1, Kendrick Lamar, rapping about pushing a reset button on hip-hop, pushing a reset button. And people are tired of the degenerative energies that come from hip-hop, the murders, the drugs, the killings and shit like that. People are tired of that shit. And this drill shit has been a cancer to the world for the past probably 12 years. It's been a lot of killing, man, nationwide because of this. From the time Chief Keef and those guys came out with that video dancing around with their shirts off in that living room, the world has never been the same. Every metropolis, every urban community, the younger guys who was their ages, they adapted that shit. They adapted the lingo, sticks, ops, spin the block, switches, everything that you drilling, everything that you could imagine, that come with this lifestyle was adopted nationwide. And every city had their own drill community, young teenagers putting out music talking about killing and actually executing these murders and shit. And it's, in totality, it's contributed to the crime rate and the murder rate nationwide just going through the roof. And I got my co-host for the day, my special guest, Jay Rasic. He just walked in the building. We about to get off into it. Come on, step to the mic, man. I appreciate you coming through and shit.
What's happening? Thank you for having me.
Yeah, but first and foremost, I'd like to welcome you to the Dribble. I have been thinking about having you on for some time. I've been watching what you've been doing with the Streets T podcast. And you definitely get busy. You definitely get behind the mic. You know what you're doing. You informed and shit. And I said, man, I need to bring Rastic and do an episode with him. I believe that you can offer some great insight to this discussion that I'm having this evening. Before we get started, I want you to tell my listeners a few things about you. Before you got here, I told them that you was the ops. I told him you was the ops back in the DVD era. Street Bang 'em DVD, that was the ops. And Rastic had his own DVD back in the day and shit. And me and him was probably two of the more popular DVDs in this region up here in northwestern Pennsylvania and shit. And as of now, he has his own podcast called the Streets Tea Podcast. We all discuss what? Tell him about the podcast,
Yeah.
Cam.
So yeah, again, I want to say thank you for having me on. You know what I mean? You definitely get busy too, man. You got your dribble right. I'm trying to get my dribble right.
No doubt.
But yeah, what we do. Well, I've been in the media for a while. Like how you said, we definitely had more prominent DVDs back in the DVD era, and I just stayed with media. I used to do music and things like that.
You used to rap, right?
Yeah. I used to do music, and then I kind of, as I got older, I wanted to pivot into another lane. So it was like, why not like do media? I started doing like music videos for people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I, you know what I mean, had the little radio show that we was doing, and then I was helping kind of manage some like up and comers. But outside of that, the media is more the passion, like, you know what I mean? So we I started with the Jay Rasic podcast.
Okay.
And then I was interviewing like local business owners and musicians and things like that.
Got it.
And then we pivoted into doing I was doing another podcast with Stravy Stones.
Okay.
And we started a podcast called the Renaissance Man Podcast. And that kind of didn't really take like I wanted it to.
Yeah.
So then I pivoted again, and that's how we came up with the Streets Tea thing.
How's that been working out for you? I caught a couple episodes. I think I seen the one with Shan Jones and Zeke, who was also on my Gully TV DVDs back then. They was on your shit too, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So how's the what's the reception been for the Streets Tea podcast?
It's been pretty good. It's been gradually getting the traction that I was like hoping for, like with the other two podcasts that we was doing. We cover different topics, like mostly surrounded by relationships, or but we touch on other things too, like we touch on the music and we touch on like business things, people that can come on and give insight and stuff like that. So that's where we at.
Before we get off into this discussion that we're gonna have about this OTF indictment with Lil Durk, are you keeping up on the NBA?
Yeah.
What you think about Bronny James?
I think he a work in progress. I don't. Everybody's saying like he pooped, but
He's
it's like
poop.
it's like I do think by at the end of it he gonna be somewhere in the middle of the pack.
Right.
But I do think he need a lot of like development, a lot of work. You know what I mean, things like that. So
they just sent him to the
him
D
going to the
League,
him
G
going
League and
that
shit.
was the good thing. We kind of knew like that's what it was gonna be.
Yeah.
But you know you got to do the whole fandom of the whole LeBron, him and they playing together and all of that. So it's like you got to bring him in with all the highlights,
right,
and then put him where he's supposed to be. So that's
we got to talk about your Knicks. I know you like the Knicks. You represent the Knicks. You bought a couple pairs of my shorts. You got the Dribble God Knicks edition.
Yeah.
How you feel about the trade with Karl Anthony Towns and shit?
Initially, I was like, I kind of wasn't with it at first.
Explain.
I felt like I didn't want them to really let Julius go for real, because he was like the epitome of the rebirth. You know what I'm saying? Like he was the first one coming, and he kind of stayed the course. He had the grit to be a New York player. Yeah. And I understand why. Yeah. Because he do quit on defense sometimes. He get the whining and all of that. And he used to drive me crazy with that. Yeah. But it's like I kind of wanted them to win a chip to be like all of that was worth it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Right. But after the trade, after I got, through my own personal feelings, I'm like, it was actually a good trade. Yeah. I didn't want to let DiVincenzo go.
That's what I had a problem with. Them breaking up the Villanova boys, man. They played so good together and shit. I hated that.
The chemistry was something crazy. So yeah. And now we, as people that see that watch the first game, it was like now we got to get that chemistry again.
You got to get it back.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, y'all got smoked. I fuck with the Knicks too. They got smoked fucking with Boston on people's ring night. Them niggas hit 29 threes.
Bad.
Blistering hot, man. My Lakers is 2-0, man. maybe later on in the season I can tap back in with you and we could talk some more about the Knicks and the Lakers, man. Because
Definitely.
the Lakers, my squad on the West Coast, and I've been following the Knicks since John Starks and them and shit. So I'm hoping that they get that chemistry back too. They got Mikal Bridges, they got Hart.
Yeah, that
they
shot.
Still got Brunson.
What you think about that shot? Him switching his shot up.
I
think they forced him to switch it back though, because last night he was hitting.
He did start hitting. The first game when they got blasted, he led the team in scoring. So he
definitely gonna be a good key piece, and he don't get injured like everybody else do.
Yeah, definitely durable. He showed up to work. Before we go on to this discussion, I have to ask you about Jaguar White, man. This bitch been driving me crazy, man. I just seen a video before I came down here, and she's implying that 50 Cent is a blade. Like, I don't know where she got that from, but she just came to say she, out of the blue, 50 Cent's a homosexual now.
Yeah.
This shit just drives me crazy. What do you think about this broad, man?
I think the same. I think she really batshit crazy. And I think people are starting to be like, oh, well, she was telling the truth. I'm like, okay, you some things that you said in your rants ended up happening, but that don't mean that that's what it was.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, the Diddy case and everything coming down, everybody is like, oh, Jaguar has been trying to tell us for all these years.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, it just happened to hit.
While she was during the course of her going on tour doing rants.
Right. And it's like, okay, so it hit. So now they like, oh, she been telling the truth. And it's like, nah, I don't buy that. I feel more or less she just be saying whatever. And whatever stick is going to stick.
Like, never was a big factor in music. And they just putting her on all of these platforms, man, letting her say whatever. You see, she got on Pierce Morgan and Jay-Z. And Beyonce sent their legal representation to him and made his ass apologize for that
and he
shit.
did.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
So like, and that's the thing, and it's like with the internet, we've given some certain people the power to just say like ridiculous things, and then we gotta take it and look at it like, oh, well, is this true? Is this a real thing? And it's like,
it's very fucking annoying to me, and I know that you probably deal with it too, being that you got your own podcast. People just jump in the comments and just say some off the wall shit.
Yeah.
And for a period of time on Instagram, I cuss motherfuckers out to this day, but for a period of time, Instagram would delete your comment and give you warnings and shit like, yo, man, that's profanity, that's bullying, you can't say nothing back. But they don't say nothing to these motherfuckers in these comments, talking crazy from fake pages and all kind of shit. And if we retaliate,
and they threatening to like ban your profile. And all that
I done went through 3 Instagram profiles and shit. I'm on my 3rd one behind shit just like that, the censorship shit.
Yo, it's wild. It's almost an epidemic in that by itself. You know what I mean? Because the internet make it cool to be like, you could say some left field. You could say something left field,